It's Friday.
TGIF.
It's Friday. Hello, you're watching The Rise Entertainment 360. I'm Lola Ogunaike.
And I'm Shannon Lanier, and we're here to bring you the newest and hottest stories in American entertainment, culture, and sports. And we've got a great show coming up.
Yes, we do.
Adam Levine is saying, I'm sorry. We'll tell you why.
And the Michael Jackson trial is getting uglier by the day. We'll update you on all the courtroom drama.
And gospel great Hezekiah Walker is gracing us with his presence. Oh my gosh, such a packed show.
I know. Let's get the party started.
Let's start the party.
Well, Shannon, it's official.
Okay.
Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj announced yesterday that they both won't be returning to American Idol.
Wow.
The warring divas made no secret of their hate for one another. You know, some fans loved the feuding and others were completely turned off. Well, clearly it didn't work for Idol executives.
And a joint statement from Fox and the show's producers, they called Mariah Carey a, quote, true global icon and one of the most accomplished artists on the planet. They also added, quote, we feel extremely fortunate that she was able to bring her wisdom and experience to the American Idol contestants this season.
But they still said goodbye to her.
Yes, they did.
Well, in another statement about Minaj's departure, Rep said, Nicki Minaj is a superstar who brought a level of honesty and passion to American Idol and who had a tremendous positive impact on so many contestants this season. But given her extremely busy career, we understand and respect her decision and wish her the best. Well, at least it was a nice send-off.
Definitely, that's good. And, you know, Minaj, she also tweeted, and she said, thank you to the show, and she wrote, thank you, American Idol, for the life-changing experience. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Time to focus on the music. Mwah. Mwah. Just like Nicki Minaj would do.
I know. She's such a diva.
Of course, that's why they love her.
So who signed up now? It's Jennifer Hudson is one of the judges.
And two others who we don't know yet, but there's a lot of rumors that it's going to be past contestants, possibly
Kelly Clarkson. Right,
or
and
the two guys.
Adam Lambert, right?
Or Clay Aiken.
Yeah. I like Kelly.
Yeah, a lot of mix-up. A lot of mix-ups going on. So I think Kelly would be great for it, actually.
And then maybe Adam.
Yeah, there'll be a nice balance. They offer different things for different audiences. So
absolutely.
All right, we'll have to watch next season and see what goes down.
Speaking of talent show competitions, Adam Levine is apologizing for the outburst that landed him in hot water with voice fans earlier this week. You'll remember during Tuesday's live telecast, the Maroon 5 frontman was overheard saying, quote, I hate this country, as viewers voted off the two of the contestants that he mentors.
That's right. In a statement, Levine said, I obviously love my country very much, and my comments last night were made purely out of frustration. Being a part of The Voice and I am passionately invested in my team and want to see my artists succeed. Last night's elimination of Judith and Sarah, those were the two that were voted off, was confusing and downright emotional for me, and my comments were made based on my personal dissatisfaction with the results. I am very connected to my artists.
He's still talking?
Oh my gosh, I'm talking. He still goes on to talk about being connected to his artists.
Apology.
And he basically says that they'll be successful no matter what.
Okay.
So, whew, that's a lot, right?
Goodness.
A lot
He's like, and furthermore, and while I'm still apologizing.
Page 12.
Page 12 of my apology. Well, you can't say I hate this country and, issue a terse statement. You got to come correct.
Yeah, so get with it, brother.
Well, speaking of I'm sorries, singer Miguel may have to pay up for his infamous dropkick at the recent Billboard Music Awards. You remember that dropkick?
Oh, how could I forget?
Well, Miguel, he quickly apologized after the incident, tweeting, quote, got caught up in the moment. Thank goodness Coyote is okay. But apparently the Twitter apology was not enough. Coyote Shaw, who's the girl who was drop-kicked in the head, is now considering legal action after injuries caused by the accident.
That's true. Shaw's attorney, Vip Bola, said that it's pretty much a situation we'll talk about later.
Okay.
But basically, he said that the decision will be made, quote, after we have feedback from medical providers. No comments have been made so far from Miguel and his team, but this is a situation that's going to get a little sticky, and that's why we have to, dissect it a little bit later on in the show.
We're going to have our legal analyst on to help us figure out if this girl has a case, because apparently she took pictures backstage with Miguel right after she got drop-kicked in the head.
So does she have a case, or is she just being greedy is the question?
That's the question. Stick around. We'll have the answer soon enough. But in the meantime,
in between time,
Queen of all media Oprah Winfrey shared many pearls of wisdom during her Harvard graduation commencement speech yesterday. She said that speaking at the Ivy League was one of the highlights of her storied career. Let's take a listen.
To say that I'm honored doesn't even begin to quantify the depth of gratitude that really accompanies an honorary doctorate from Harvard. Not too many little girls from rural Mississippi have made it all the way here to Cambridge, and I can tell you that I consider today, as I sat on the stage this morning getting teary for you all and then teary for myself, I consider today a defining milestone in a very long and a blessed journey.
Well, you know, in addition to addressing the graduates, Oprah also received an honorary doctorate degree from Harvard University, from Harvard University.
And what could be better than having her speak at your graduation?
I don't know.
I don't know who spoke at mine, but if it was her, I would never forget it.
Yeah, I don't remember who spoke at my undergrad. Grad school was Quincy Jones.
Oh,
who's actually
that's
Oprah's
nice.
friend.
That's a pretty memorable person.
He was good. A little slow. It was a little long, but he was very informative. Thank you, Mr. Quincy Jones.
There you go. Moving on to the basketball wise troublemaker, Evelyn Langoza. Well, she found herself.
Evelyn Lozada.
Oh, Lozada. I always mix her up with that other Evelyn lady. Well, anyway, Evelyn found herself a new, younger man.
What? Okay, Evelyn.
Yeah, 20 years after graduating from high school, Chad Ochocinco's ex went to prom with a high school senior from Bloomfield, Michigan. That's nice.
Look at what she's wearing.
Well, the young buck reached out to Evelyn via Twitter several months ago and asked her if she would be his date. And shocker of all shockers, she said yes! And even better, she picked up the entire tab, dinner, her own plane ticket. Now you're talking the hotel. Wait a minute, I hope that was just for her. The only thing he had to pay for was the corsage. Wow, talk about an unforgettable prom.
Can you imagine? Evelyn Lozada shows up to your prom.
And looking fine.
With a dress with a slit up to here and down to there and all the bazungas showing. You know, all those other seniors in high schools were so mad.
And very jealous.
No, they're so jealous.
I wonder how his mother felt, though. She'd be like, baby, you need to fix that dress. Like, my baby can't be going out there. But wow, that is so nice. That's nice that they're giving back and doing a good deed for somebody.
I can't believe you can just reach out to someone on Twitter and get a date.
Everybody's doing it these days.
All right, well, apparently. I did not look like that on prom night, that's for sure. Well, Michael Jackson was so thin in his final day, Shannon.
Really?
Yeah, that one of his handlers suggested that he actually drink beer and eat fast food to fatten up. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
Well, in an email that was shared during the current Jackson versus AEG live trial, John Hudal, a tour manager for AEG, suggested that Michael eat, quote, some cheeseburgers with a bunch of Wisconsin cheesehead bowlers and a couple of brats and beers.
That is crazy. You know, Jackson
That's
family.
some diet.
Technically, that's a good diet, right?
I guess.
If you want to gain some weight.
Yeah.
Well, Jackson's family is suing the concert promoters, claiming that executives knew that the gloved one was terribly sick in 2009, but did nothing to help him. Michael Jackson was reportedly 5'9" and 135 pounds at the time of his death.
What?
Yeah.
That's like my dream weight.
Oh, please. That's sickening. That's what we're talking about, people. You know, in another email shared in the court this week, one executive said that certain shots had to be edited out of the This Is It concert documentary. It made, you know, basically it was made after the singer's passing.
Right,
but
right.
It was just too revealing. And he said, quote, that make sure you take out the shots of MJ in that red leather jacket at the song stage. He looks way too thin and skeletal. That's why they had to, you know, cover it up and try to hide the things because it just looked too bad for him.
Well, and that's interesting because initially they said, we've never talked about Michael Jackson being thin. What are you saying? What are you saying? And then they found this treasure trove of emails that suggested otherwise.
Another situation we're going to have to talk about later in the show, and we'll get it dissected a little bit more with our legal expert.
Oh my goodness, too many legal things going on in the celebrity world. Well, speaking of the Jacksons, is Janet Jackson a germaphobe?
I think maybe a little.
Well, that's what some spies are saying. They were on a recent flight with her on British Airways, and they're alleging that Janet, who was in first class, of course, because she is Janet Jackson.
Miss Jackson.
Well, she spent a frantic 40 minutes cleaning her window, chair, tray, table, and phone with antibacterial spray.
What?
And this person said, quote, "This wasn't a normal rub down. This was 40 minutes of meticulously wiping everything."
Wow, you don't have to detail the plane. You've already paid for a first class ticket, man. That is
I mean,
interesting.
I just bring my own blanket, but clearly.
Well, the flight's going to be over by the time she gets done cleaning everything.
She cleaned everything.
That's interesting. All right. Anyway, get it together. It seems like the quote of the day, get it together. Actor Philip Seymour Hoffman has just finished a 10-day stint of a drug rehab program. Seymour has struggled with a substance abuse in the past, but had been clean for 23 years until just a year ago, Lola. Just a year ago.
Well, in an interview with TMZ, Seymour explains his addiction, and he says it started with prescription pills and ended with snorting heroin.
Wow.
In the interview, he credits family and friends for his decision to undergo treatment. And you know, Seymour will be starring in the Hunger Games Catching Fire this November. But who knew? 23 years of being clean, and he just fell off the wagon.
One little slip up, that's all it takes.
Pills to heroin?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Hopefully he gets the help that he needs.
Yeah.
All right, so Johnny Depp will no longer be playing the role of Boston gangster Whitney Bulger in the upcoming Black Mass film. Depp was asked to take a 50% pay cut. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
After sales of the film didn't go so well at the Cannes Film Festival.
Well, Depp normally requests $20 million per film, and after being asked to take that pay cut, he refused and bolted. Luckily for Depp, he'll reprise his role as Captain Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean 5, which is in theaters in 2015, and of course, he always receives $20 million for that role.
Now, do you love him as Captain Jack Sparrow?
I do. I love that whole Keith Richards swishy thing. I like the hair, the guy liner.
Okay.
I really like it.
All right, very good. Well, President Obama's half-brother, Malik Obama, is selling 2 of the president's handwritten letters for $15,000 a piece.
What?
Wow.
Okay, well, Gary Zemet, a collector that is organizing the sale, said, quote, "I wrote to Malik and I didn't know if I would get a response. I was astonished when I did. I sent a letter to a post office in Kenya. I asked if he had any letters from his brother. I didn't expect to hear from him ever, but he wrote back and said, I have 2 letters. Both letters are on White House stationery and signed, thanks for your prayers and support, B.O.
Oh, now how you gonna sell his letters? He's thanking you for your prayers and support.
I'd sell him too.
Well, okay. Well,
you know how much money $15,000 is in Kenya?
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Maybe that's why he gave it to him.
Exactly.
All right, Lola, I have a story that you're going to love.
Do tell. What is it?
Well, business is booming for one of your favorite designers, Michael Kors.
I know why, because I'm buying all his stuff.
Well,
continue.
Since his company went public in 2011, sales have soared for the new king of fashion. Sales in Europe rose 97%.
What?
97% to $73.1 million last quarter. And sales in North America rose 52% to $516 million.
Goodness.
Now, Kors plans to open 40 more stores in Europe and 50 more stores stateside. And, you know, I kind of thought we were in a recession, but apparently not if you're Michael Kors.
Apparently not. Goodness.
You got a lot of explaining to do, Missy.
I am helping a little bit.
Right.
I know. I need to spread the love.
Okay.
I do like Michael Kors. He makes great dresses, though. He does.
True.
He really does. Well, last night on Wheel of Fortune, Autumn Earhart became the second contestant in history to win the grand prize of $1 million. You know, the show is in its 30th season, and Earhart was selected for the Celebrating 30 theme week because she's 30 years old. Let's take a look at Miss Erin.
Now, the category tonight is Thing. R-S-T-L-N-E. Vanna will put some letters up, ask our audience to be very quiet, obviously very important to her. You have 10 seconds. Talk it out. You're a good player. You never know. Good luck.
Tough workout.
What? Let me look. We have $1 million winner.
I love seeing people win. I love seeing people win. It makes me so happy.
Man, that's the day.
Well, you know, she was recently engaged, so she plans to spend her winnings on her wedding. That wedding's going to be
She's gonna have a fabulous wedding. Well, you know, the $1 million grand prize was first introduced when the season started in season 26 by contestant. This was the first winner, Michael Lowenstein. Oh, Michelle Lowenstein. And the first prize was back in 2008.
Goodness, wow.
That's pretty good.
I love Wheel of Fortune.
I know, I could spend $1 million on a lot of great things.
That show's been on for well over 2 decades now.
Really, that long?
Yeah, and it's still
Vanna
good.
White's still looking fabulous.
She's still looking fabulous. She sure is, turning those letters.
All right, guys, you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.